How's it going, everyone? So in honor of Diabetic Awareness Month, that is the month of November for those of you who don't know, I am going to be giving my story as how I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. For those of you who don't know, I have been type 1 diabetic for about 9 years now, maybe coming on 10 soon. So I just kind of want to give my story, how I got it and how I came up to where I am. Just kind of bring more awareness. It is November, so I kind of want to throw it out there as much as I can, help bring awareness to a lot more people. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who have either a relative, a close one, or themselves are type 1 diabetics, so figured why not give my story as exactly how I got it. So with that being said, let's get right into it. I was about 12, maybe 13 years old, and I used to be an actor. I used to love acting. I got an agent, even though he was a scam artist. I got an agent, he got me booked for a lot of auditions, and I landed my first commercial. So my first commercial was with Bill Gates and Jerry Seinfeld. I'm gonna show a clip right here if I can get one.
See how that feels.
Better.
That's a 10.
¿Es el conquistador?
Guess what, Bill? You're a 10.
Ellos van apretados. Are you a shit?
Now, as you can see in that clip, I was only in there for about 1 to 2 seconds, but at the time I still felt like a star. I felt great. It was my first commercial, I landed it. For those who don't know, I'm the kid in the bottom right corner with the plaid shirt on. That was me. So as you can see, I was a little chunky, a lot thicker of a kid, and never really watched what I ate. I was just like any normal kid. I ate whatever I wanted. I did whatever I wanted. I played sports, I played soccer, I had good grades. I just did everything like that. But after I shot that first commercial, I went back home, flew back home. I went to Seattle for the commercial, and they flew me back home to Upland. It's kind of close to LA. But fast forward a few months later, and the same people who I shot the commercial with called me and said, hey, we have a part 2 for the commercial. We want to keep you in it, part of the family again. So they invited me back to Seattle to shoot part 2, and I said, of course, yeah, of course. So before all that though, about a month before I got the call for the second commercial, I started noticing some side effects that I didn't know was diabetes related at all. I thought it was just normal sickness or something, but I never put 2 and 2 together. So the first things I started noticing is, number 1, I would wake up every single night dying of thirst. My mouth was super dry, it hurt to swallow from how dry it was. I would chug 2 to 3 water bottles at a time, and then 15 minutes later, I'd pee it all out, repeat the process. So I'd wake up at least, I'd say 5 times a night, every single night, dying of thirst, and just chug, 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 chug. Never thought anything of it. I thought I was just dehydrated or something, so I'd just drink water. Excuse me. My parents never thought anything of it, so we just kind of kept going day to day. It was always just normal, kind of a normal thing. That was like the only side effect I can really remember, was just being really thirsty and peeing a lot because I was drinking so much water. But other than that, nothing really came up until I pretty much got diagnosed. So when I flew out to the commercial, I got to Seattle, got into my hotel room, and I remember I started feeling really, really sick, and it was always after I ate or I drank something. So my mom would always give me some money, and she'd let me go run to the vending machine, and she let me get a Coke. So I'd always get Coke, never diet, and that was my mistake. I'd grab a Coke, I'd come back, I'd drink the Coke, throw up, lay down, not feel good, and she'd get me another Coke or another soda or a ginger ale, thinking that I was just a normal sick kid. I'd drink it, I'd throw up, and it was just over and over and over again. So the day of the commercial came, and I went out to set. We got all ready. I got my makeup done. Everyone was ready. Bill Gates was there. Jerry Seinfeld was there. It was about to be a great time. And long story short, I ended up getting really sick on set because I had some soda there, to where I went to the trailer, the makeup trailer, laid down, and literally slept the whole day away. They had to cancel my whole family's part. When I woke up, they're like, hey, we already finished the commercial. We're not gonna be shooting your family's part because you were sick. There's not much we can do. I felt horrible at the time, but I mean, I didn't know, but I was diabetic and I wasn't treating it at all. So went back to the hotel room, same thing kept happening, getting sick. And the next day came and we had to fly back to California. So on the plane ride back, I was literally still throwing up everything. And I get ginger ale, chug it, throw it up right in the bag. And when I got to the airport, it was almost like I couldn't walk. I would walk at least like, let's say 10 steps, and I'd have to sit down and take a break because I was breathing so hard. My mom started freaking out. She's like, look, we gotta call 911. And I was like, no, because I was very scared of doctors at the time. So I was like, no, it's fine, I'm good. I'm tired. So I would get up, walk 10 steps, and then sit back down, almost like I couldn't breathe. 10 steps, sit down, 10 steps, and it was just back and forth. And I kept telling my mom, please don't call 911, please don't call 911. So we got into the car, my dad picked us up, and he had an orange in the car, and he handed me the orange. He's like, here, you need to have some vitamins. So I ate the orange, knocked out in the car again. Then I woke up and I thought we were home, because usually when you have you guys ever been driving and let's say you go to LA and you come back home and you wake up right when you get home, like you just know that feeling, like it's weird, it happens every time to me. Well, I kind of had that same feeling, but this time I woke up at the hospital. And I remember being so mad at my parents, like, I told you guys I don't want to come here, I'm fine, I told you, and they're like, no, we gotta see what's wrong. So they took me into the hospital, all the people and all the doctors started running some tests on me. And I remember laying down on I think it's called correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's called the gurney. I remember laying down on the gurney and I was out cold, fell asleep. Next thing I remember is I woke up, all the doctors around me, my parents were next to me, they were crying. I looked at them like, why are you crying? Like, I'm probably just sick. And they're like, hey, Matthew, that's my name. You have diabetes. And at the time, as a 12, 13-year-old, I had absolutely no idea what that was. So I just looked at him and I was like, oh, okay. And just fell asleep again. Then I think they told me I was out for a total of 16 hours. I woke up again 16 hours later, and my parents were still there, great parents, super loving, super supportive. They started explaining to me exactly what my disease is, and they asked me if I was hungry. I was like, not really, but they brought me food. And this is when I actually realized what I have to deal with. They brought me chicken nuggets, and they said, okay, this has 30 grams of carbs. We're gonna give you this much insulin. And I was like, kind of like, what? They're like, yeah, we're gonna have to give you a shot, and we're gonna have to prick your finger before you eat every time. And I was like, all right, well, like when do I stop doing this? And that's when they started explaining, like, no, you have this for life. Like, this is what you have to do every time you eat, and you're gonna have to prick your fingers multiple times a day. And yeah, they just laid it on me. And I remember they gave me the shot for the chicken nuggets. I ate the chicken nuggets, and I was still kind of letting it set in. And I was in the hospital for a total of 4 days. On the third day, they made me do my first insulin shot myself. So they brought me the insulin shot, got the syringe, I had to draw it myself. And then I still do to this day hate needles, but I remember having to pull my stomach up, and I was shaking and sweating, trying to push it in. And I slowly pushed it in, did the insulin shot. I slowly started pricking my fingers. They brought in a dietitian to kind of go over all the foods I should be eating, how many carbs are in the banana, how many carbs are on the size of toast, everything like that. Kind of give me a lot more info so I can track my carbs a lot better and count my carbs a lot better. And the specific moments when it kind of really hit me is my older brother, we're very close. He came in and I didn't cry at all that whole time. I felt like I didn't know what I was dealing with. I thought it was just like a common cold. But when he came in, for some reason, like seeing his face, like he was worried, then seeing my parents' face worried, that's when I finally broke down. That's when I broke down into tears. That's when I first felt scared. Like, what is this? Like, what is this really a for life thing? And from there on out, I just dealt with it. I had to suck it up and do what I had to do, you know, to get me where I am. Thankfully, I am the kind of person to, I guess you could say, take any obstacle and tackle it with full power. Not really the kind of guy who just sits there and dwells and thinks oh well, there's nothing I can do, I'm screwed, I'm done, that's it. So I do think that that's a reason why God blessed me with it to this day. He knows I'm the kind of guy who can handle it, and personally I'd rather have it than anyone who can't handle it can have it, because it is the 7th leading cause in the United States. there is a lot that can go wrong with it if you don't take care of it, and it is a challenge to take care of it. So you have to deal with this 7 days a week, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. Like it's always gonna be there. And it's not like I can just go eat this without having to worry about anything. You know, I always have to worry about it. But to this day, I do think it is a blessing. It kind of led me to a healthier lifestyle, because the way I was before, I was not gonna be living a healthy life. I'll tell you that right now. I was chubby, I was overweight, and I just wasn't healthy. So I do think that it forced me to be healthy, forced me to be a lot more cautious of everything I'm eating, everything I'm doing. So I do take that as a huge blessing. And I wouldn't have it any other way. So I'm never kind of the guy to be like, oh, I'm diabetic, I'm sad, blah, 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 and use that as an excuse. I never, ever want to use that as an excuse. And there have been times where I'm like, dang, it'd be a great excuse. I'm like, hey, I'm diabetic, or like, let's say I'm at work and I want to leave. Hey, my blood sugar's super high, I don't feel good. Can I, you know, I can do that, but that's just not the way I should be living. You know, I should treat it like I should treat myself like I'm a normal person, but I should also be cautious that I have diabetes, you know. And I don't know how to explain it, but I never use it as an excuse. And I personally, it's such like a normal thing for me now to where I don't even feel different. But that is how I got it. The symptoms I do want to kind of point out to you guys. So from what I went through, so if you ever notice a family member, God forbid you don't, but if you ever notice a family member going through these things or seeing these type of activities, maybe ask them to go check it out, the doctor or something. Number one, like I said, if you or they are peeing a lot and drinking a ton of water, that's a huge indicator. If they're very dehydrated and they can't hydrate themselves with water because they just pee right out 15 minutes later, big sign. Number two, I was very chubby. I weighed 130 pounds at the time, and within a month, I dropped down to 95. So I got a big weight drop. So that's another one. If they're losing a lot of weight quickly without doing exercise or anything like that, big indicator. And number three, there is a skin thing. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but if you can squeeze the skin and it goes down slowly, I believe that means your blood sugar is really high. I never tested like that and never knew that until after I got it, but you can try that test. And there's also a number four, it's the breath. Usually they say it smells like ketones, it smells fruity. So if they wake up in the morning with a fruity breath, a dry, very dry mouth, that could be an indicator. Now, I'm not saying if you have, let's say one day you wake up dehydrated, I'm not saying freak out and think that you have diabetes, no, but I'm saying if it's an ongoing thing, every day you're waking up super dehydrated in the middle of the night, peeing right after you drink the water, then maybe you should check it out. But yeah, I don't want this video to be sad at all. I'm very okay with what I have, and I'm very open about it. I'm very blessed to have it, truly. So I don't want this to be a sad video or anything like that. It is a good thing. I just want to bring more awareness because it is Diabetic Awareness Month, and I just want more people to be aware. And so that's exactly my story of how I got my diabetes, or how I was diagnosed with my diabetes. If you know anyone, or if you have any close relatives that has diabetes type 1 or type 2, make sure to show them a little extra love this month and be there for them a little more. It is a tough thing to deal with, but everyone can get through it. Everyone can be healthy, everyone can push through it. It's something that we can control, so that's a huge blessing, because there's a lot of other things out there that you can't control, and that's way worse than anything. So if you watched, if you listened, thank you so much. I hope it brought a little more awareness to you. It kind of gave you a little bit of something to look out for, and maybe close friends or anything. Since it is November, I probably will be dropping more videos about diabetes and how I take care of it, stuff like that, to kind of help a lot more people. But thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.